Good evening. Today is November the 5th, and I'm going to be talking more on the early biblical history another day. Today, while I was in prayer, what I heard was disobeying God, which has been actually very common, not only in our time, but in early biblical times too. If you look at Moses and Aaron in Numbers, God told them to speak to the stone, and they struck it when they got mad with the people for rebelling and complaining about not having water. Look at Jeroboam in 1 Kings 12 and 13, where he rebelled and turned the people against the rightful king, gathering. They asked him to be king, and then he made golden calves and told them, "These are your gods," turning them from God. Another example, King Saul. King Saul was chosen by God, but he let his pride get in his way. And he got to where he was doing things his way instead of seeking God. And in the end, he was his ability to be king was taken from him. But David, while he had the ability that he could have killed him and took over the king's space, he held back, restrained himself, and waited until God's timing to where he was made king. You look at Adam and Eve in the garden, rebelling and disobeying God and eating the apple from the tree of life. Or not the tree of life, excuse me, from the tree of knowledge. Look at Lot's wife, who had been told to flee with her husband and their children and not to look back. But yet she stops and she turns around and looks back and becomes a pillar of salt. Makes you wonder what she was missing back there. Then you have Jonah, who God sent to Nineveh, but he ran the other direction because he didn't like the Ninevites. He didn't want them to be saved. But in the end, he did what God wanted. Happy or not, he still did it. Then you have King David. He was a murderer and adulterer. And then you had Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Christ, and Cain, who didn't honor God with his sacrifice. He took it for granted, and he didn't give the best of what he had, so God rejected it. And then he became a murderer because he was jealous and angry at his brother. Then you have Ananias and Sapphira, who lied about what they had made on the property they sold when they gave the money to honor God and help support the ministry. But they did it with the wrong heart, and then they lied about the amount they had made. And if you think about it, this reflects so much of today's time. People do not honor God. They sit there and they take it for granted. If you can get them into church on a Sunday, it's amazing that they're even there because they're thinking about the ball games or out golfing or on the lake. They don't take the relationship serious. Out of all them people that I've just named, and there's plenty today that have the same issues, but King David, when it came down to it, he repented. He repented and he was forgiven and restored by God. And that's what we have to remember. If we make a mistake, then we need to repent of it, turn back to God and let Him restore us. But now, if you're going to just go your own way and do your own thing, you cannot expect to be blessed by the Lord. It's not going to happen. So, something for you to think about. Disobeying God, you cannot take it lightly, because God don't. I pray blessings over each and every one of you. I love you, and I will talk to you tomorrow.